Hey everyone, Winslow here. Thanks again for joining. Today we're going to do a quick recap of the recent adventures in mid-game in Ark Scorched Earth. We started out mid-game with getting some industrial tech. I set up water and power and built my fabricator, generator, and some fridges. Shortly after, we got a chemistry bench and finally an industrial forge. All of this lets us have mass production of materials. It's a huge milestone and makes life a bit easier. There's fewer trips for metal ore and I don't have to cart around water anymore. It lets us have more time for things that are important, like breeding. On that note, we started raising some Carnotaurus, which will be used in the Guardian Arena fight against the Manticore. The Carno is a basic carnivore tame that ends up being pretty strong. It's smaller and more agile than a Rex, but doesn't have as much damage output. But it does have a better knockback and a bleed effect. I can't wait to see these in action against the Manticore. We also worked on raising the base pair for breeding, and soon there will be about 20 that I can have for boss hunting. I'll just have to take them out and about and get them some experience so they're a bit stronger. Taking carnos out into the dunes for experience is a great way to level them, but it's also a fantastic way to farm up some deathworms so I can tame a mantis. If I get a Uti, I could also take out an alpha deathworm. Also preparing for selective breeding and mutation lines, this is an extensive process, which in my opinion is really only useful on the island and extinction maps. Scorched Earth and Aberration don't really require a lot of mutations, but you can still gain a huge benefit from at least a few of them. I mean, who doesn't want extra stats on the tames that they're going to take into a boss fight? Entirely needed on Scorched Earth because the Manticore is probably the easiest out of all of the Ark Guardians. Speaking of something that's easy, here I showed you how I prefer to tame rock elementals. This is a very straightforward process that anyone can replicate. It's cheap and it's basically just like pushing a giant easy button. Unfortunately, the rock golems are significantly weaker once tamed, like a Giga, but they can still play a role for defense in PvP or it can be just for show. Rock elementals cannot be brought into the Manticore arena, but Wyverns can. This is the only arena that allows flyers, and Wyverns are within the weight limit. I set up a trap base near the World Scar and cleared out probably a total of 60 Wyverns over 3 trips. I ended up with a handful of eggs and decided to hatch one. I don't use him for very much, but I think he's just great. Wyverns are exceptionally fast, but have a poor turning radius. They can pick up much larger tames out in the world, their breath weapons are great in combat, and they are just a lot of fun. I usually only keep 1 or 2. You can set them on defense or turret mode and they'll stay put, and they'll just use breath weapons against invaders. Nearing the end of mid-game, here we are wrapping things up with the artifacts on the map. They are each located in caves with varying degrees of difficulty, but we made them all pretty easy with the Megatherium. These are my go-to for cave exploration because caves usually have a lot of insects, spiders, and bats, and they will all mostly ignore you while you are mounted. They also gain a frenzy whenever they kill a bug, which gives them a 2-minute super damage boost. This will allow you to quickly and efficiently clear out packs of cave enemies without even having to worry, and they are big enough to mostly avoid the acidic spit from the Arthropleura or centipede. The only real downsides for the Megatherium is that their turning radius makes them kind of slow, and they cannot jump. Otherwise, they are one of my favorite tames in the game, and I'm sad that they aren't an aberration. The caves in Scorched Earth hold a lot of resources, and despite the enemies, it's a lot safer to cave run than to go to the mountaintops. You won't have to deal with wandering wyverns or the big rock elementals, but you do have to worry about instant death drops if you forget how to jump properly. Thanks again for coming along on this adventure through Scorched Earth. We're almost at the end. I am going to do a couple of days of maintenance and may do a live stream for some final cleanup on the map before I go into the Manticore arena. I want to thank you again for joining, and all of the great feedback and responses. Your support means the world to me, and we'll catch up next time. Bye!